Okay, we are live. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Nerd Chase channel. I'm your Nerd Chase. I said I'm your Nerd Chase. And, in this video, we're going to have another MademB and Narik reviews. This time, we're going to be reviewing
The Descent.
Huh?
The Descent.
Okay, I could barely hear you. Like, feel that shit. I'm like,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. All right, we just got through watching this movie, and this is an older movie. This isn't anything new. It came out in 2005, and it's basically following the 6 women that go spelunking or deep cave diving.
Spelunking.
Yeah, and they end up meeting a bunch of flesh-eating, cannibalistic subterranean humanoids. Awesome looking, by the way. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this review. You know, we try to do these around 20 minutes. And I know it's been a while, so we're going to go ahead and... Ow, that hurt like hell. And get into this review. So, initial thoughts on the movie before we break it down.
Initial thoughts. It was alright. Too many fake jump scares. But I did jump, just to let you know. But... Oh, hush. But yeah, it was alright for an all-female cast.
Oh, why have we for all-female cast?
I said it was alright for an all-female cast. Did you see a man there besides,
I think several dudes in the beginning of it.
I said besides.
Not to mention the subterraneans were mostly male.
Anyway.
I'm messing with. All right, the movie in my thoughts was it's okay movie. Definitely could have been better. Actually, a pretty good idea, but as I said, it could have definitely been better. Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. Now the story follows this woman whose husband, whose daughter had died in a car accident a year prior. So now her and her friends have gotten together.
Yep. Sarah and her friends Juno, Beth, Sam, Rebecca, and newcomer Holly. Appalachian Mountains, North Carolina.
And they decide to go deep cave diving. Spelunking. Nothing wrong with that. I think that's actually... And the reason they're doing it, I guess, is to kind of help Sarah, move on with her life a little bit after the death of her family. Mm-hmm. But there's just so much to the story. That's the main story, of course. And then, of course, they get down there. They get lost down there. Mm-hmm. Get stuck down there. And they end up finding out that these subterranean humanoids are down there.
They were actually supposed to be going to...
Another set of caves.
cave.
And that's a subplot that happens in the movies. It's a twist. Well, we're doing the spoilers now. And it turns out her best friend Juno... who's supposed to took them to that cave, took them to some uncharted cave for some reason that the movie really doesn't get into.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, she says she wants them to kind of rediscover their adventurous side.
And maybe discover a new cave and maybe get it named after them. Yeah,
so that little subplot.
She's kind of a, what would you call that kind of person?
Adventurous?
Yeah. She was more. She it was like she wanted it more than any of them because they thought it was just going to be a little adventure with the girls. Yeah, it was a little bit more for her.
They thought it was gonna be a little get together. This girl just wanted to be a just all out adventure. They was gonna do some stuff that they had never done, and it's an interesting subplot, which I thought was all right. I think it would have worked out better had instead of them going to some completely different cave because it makes Juno's character look stupid. Mm-hmm. If when they went to the caves that they were supposed to be going to, maybe there was an earthquake, maybe there was a cave in, they found a new section, and that's where the creatures happen to be, which would explain why nobody's heard of them before this movie. Yeah. That would make more sense. Mm-hmm. But that little subplot, I think that what I had said would have worked a lot better. Also, there's a subplot where Sarah's character keeps seeing and hearing her daughter, which they kind of touched upon, but
she didn't. She heard the laughter. What she saw was actually the people in the cave. But yeah she kept hearing her daughter's laughter, but it didn't actually go anywhere. It would have made sense if she would have, maybe in a hallucination or whatever, caught a glimpse of her, but it didn't do that. Well, not in this one anyway.
Or do that thing where, like, the part where she fell and hit her head or whatever, the girl would have came to her in a hallucination. Like, they didn't play up that subplot. Also, there's this subplot where Juno was having an affair with Sarah's husband, which they didn't do nothing with.
Yeah, it didn't go nowhere. It was like, if you do not catch it, and I caught it, yay me. If you don't catch it, you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know anything. And that's like one of the problems I think they had with like the whole story is they try to make it about her character, but there's nothing you don't know anything about. All you know is her family died a year prior to the event of this, but you don't know nothing else. You don't know what she's been going through. You don't know how relationships.
Because as it ended the year before, her on the hospital ground, taking the death of her daughter, and then a year later they're meeting up again. So it's like, okay,
you don't know that they give no backstory as to how she's been dealing with this, which again ultimately does take away from the character. Now. And the way it ended was kind of. It was like it was a pretty good ending if you want to go that route, but of course there's a twist to it. But okay, characters. What did you think about the characters?
I didn't think it. Actually, to be honest, I couldn't. As they died off, I didn't know their names. It wasn't except for maybe Juno. Because she was more out there, and then I was like, okay, maybe Sarah, but then who I thought was Sarah, it was actually somebody else. So no,
they didn't do really too much with the characters. Yes, again, Sarah, they try to put it to where she's a sympathetic character because her family died, but she has nothing to her character. Because when everything starts happening, okay, she's the first one that breaks. You know what I'm saying? She sees evidence that these people are here and stuff, but she doesn't like act on it. She's like a very bland character. If there's any character in this movie that you're probably going to root for at any point in the movie, is Juno. She had the most personality. She had the best moments. She was like actually the most standout character out of all of them. Yeah, she was kind of a douchebag, but she, especially when the thing started attacking, what she do? She fought. Mm-hmm. Rest of them didn't. They all took off and ran. And, so Juno was probably the most pronounced character. I had to kind of sit back and be like, and because I thought about it, I was like, I don't really know who these characters are. Mm-hmm. Then I was like, okay, so I liked Holly because she was. I liked Holly till she did something stupid. Because honestly, the characters are stupid. Mm-hmm. They're really stupid. But yes, I did like Holly. I did like Juno. The best moment Sam had, which was the girl that was hanging.
Yeah.
That's Sam. Then you had Rebecca, which was a sister who got drug away. Rebecca and Beth are like the two characters in that probably shouldn't have been in the movie because they didn't serve any purpose. You got Holly, that was Holly was the character, the girl that was like going through the small tunnels and stuff, trying to find how to get out. You got Juno that knows about it, knows how to. But she was like the leader, kind of basically. Okay, you got Sam was the character that was hanging, so she was doing that hanging thing that she was doing. And as far as like an expedition wise, those three characters were like the only ones that they actually needed. And I kind of wish the movie would have just focused on those three because they all brought something to the expedition. The other three characters, even Sarah, they didn't really like Sarah's character, majority of the movie. But those three characters, and if you have to put Sarah in there, fine. But drop Beth and drop Rebecca. They didn't bring anything to the movie whatsoever.
If they would have, even if the movie would have continued without Sarah, then yeah, because it was just about her trying to get back to life, her adventure side after her loss. But I mean, it's been a year. She lost, two close people. Of course, that comes in a twist, and I guess you would say the end. Yeah, it was the end.
Depending on which ending you see.
Yeah.
But I also, and then there was a part where I did like Sarah when she was fighting. Finally, she actually does something.
Oh yeah, well after she found all that out, she grew a pair.
Now I'm talking about the part where she was in that lair by herself.
The lair.
Yeah, like that's the part I was like, okay, she's fighting
in the corn syrup.
Yeah, like that whole scene, like, okay, she's fighting
after she found out.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I told you.
Okay.
Like, see.
No, it ain't. That was before. Because remember I asked, I was like, how did she survive? Because the girl was down there. I was like, how did she survive? I was like, no, she get stabbed in the neck. They didn't eat her. Which was another like plot, like something that was wrong with the script. They was.
Okay, yeah, she after she got stabbed through the throat by Juno.
Yeah, Juno stabbed Beth in the throat, but it wasn't like she did it on purpose. She did it accident. Just got through fighting these things, and due to a poor script, Beth walked up. Beth literally walks up on her and doesn't say anything. So that's how she gets killed. But the creatures, what do you think about the creatures?
Except for that thing you pointed out, like how could they know they was there and they can't see? It was actually pretty good. A little scary, but yeah, they were nice design. All slick.
Yeah, they actually look like people that have been stuck underground that evolved.
Maybe except for the woman, she actually looked like a human. Like really, she had that hair and everything, and when she was like coming out and you could see her face in the light, she actually looked just like her face looked really human. So yeah,
I mean the creature designs were actually pretty good, and I thought the creatures were all right. There are some consistencies because when you're watching the movie, you do see some parts where they look like they can see. There's one part where Rebecca ends up getting attacked by one. And the thing is literally staying out of reach of her pickaxe. So it's like, yeah, that thing can see. And Sam's death, the one death I actually was like, nah, she shouldn't have died. Mm-hmm. That thing literally crawled across the ceiling to get to her, despite the other two were actually like yelling, and she wasn't making no noise. So I'm like, really? So you bypassed? You didn't even go for them. They were actually making a noise.
Ripped out her throat.
Yeah. What was another scene that and like I said, what you brought up with the female. The female literally chased after the woman who fell in the water. She was in the water, didn't make any sound. The thing literally went in there with her. I was like, so there's inconsistencies with the creatures. They're subterranean humanoids. They can't see. They're really good at hearing and I guess smelling. But like that was a big problem I had. But the creatures were pretty cool. I give them.
I would have liked to have seen a moment with the creatures, like when the woman, obviously that was the child she killed. Woman walked up on there, found a child. Maybe she let out a screech. The man came. And then he went down there and looked at it. Give him some.
But that's the problem. I'm like, how did she know that the thing was dead?
I know, right?
Wait. I'll stop because
maybe they have a certain smell.
Yeah. Okay.
But she could have known that Sarah was there.
Well, maybe the smell, but the way it played off was she went directly for her.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like she searched for anything. She went directly for her. So that was a bit of an issue I had with it. Visually, the movie does look pretty good. Too much shaking cam in some of the action sequences. Way too much editing. They should have definitely slowed that down because things with two monsters that jumped on this one lady, you don't even know what the hell's happening. You can't tell if the monster biting her or what. So the gore effects were pretty good, actually pretty good. So when somebody got hurt or somebody got killed, it looked like they got hurt and they got killed. And the music wasn't too bad. It was good enough to carry the movie, I think. Also with the visuals, the claustrophobic feel, I think they did a great job with that.
Okay. Because
of how enclosed the spaces were and the darkness and stuff like that. So it does maintain a pretty dark and suspenseful atmosphere despite some of the stupid decisions the characters make. Like, You know what I mean? If you're going to go into an uncharted cave, they really should have had more gear. Especially Juno knowing that they're going to do that. Mm-hmm. They should have done that. Had more gear, had more flares, had more rations of food, had more batteries. That was like a gift. Then the cave collapsing all of a sudden was just.
Yeah, it was like.
That's why I say the writing is probably the worst part of it, because the performances were actually good enough. Mm-hmm. I actually like the performances, but like I said, the worst thing about this movie is like some bits of the writing.
They left out like what should have been in there. Mm-hmm. Like Sarah could have at least said something before she stabbed her in the leg and be like, okay, she know the look. How can you, if you don't know, how can you interpret a look? They're just looking at each other.
Yeah, it comes to the point where Sarah finds out that Beth was wounded by Juno. Mm-hmm. Neither Beth nor Juno actually said that Juno did it on accident. And you could kind of understand it from Juno's perspective that she kind of backed away because she thought she killed the girl. I mean, the girl was dying, but I mean, some people be like, she should have just ran over there and be like, oh, I'm sorry and all that. But she didn't seem like one of those types of characters. She seemed like one of those types of characters, like, if some shit like that go down, she's not going to... Because think about it, when the kid died, she didn't break down crying like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She was sad and she was crying, but she wasn't breaking down and... You know what I'm saying?
She lost her lover, so maybe she did it in private.
Which, again, they never really gave any exposition on.
Right.
It wasn't like Sarah... And this is the moment you're talking about. Like, it wasn't like Sarah had said, I know you've been sleeping with my husband, or something like that.
You was.
Or there had been some kind of moment where Sarah was like, I know you've been sleeping with my husband. And then Juno kind of admits it. Mm-hmm. And you can see that there could become... Yes, they're in this situation, and now they have to talk about this personal thing that's happening between them, which the movie never gets into.
Right.
What was some more things I didn't like about it? They find out that the creatures hunt by sound. What is the one thing they kept doing?
Screaming.
That was like the one thing they kept doing. You gotta get out of here! No! Run! I'm like, what are you doing? What was the one part? The girl actually Juno turned around to look at all the creatures when they was trying to get out, and it was like 10 or 15 popped up, and she was like, run! I'm like, no, shut up! Throw a rock over there. And I kept thinking that part. I was like, every time they got to a point where it was like one of those creatures came up on them or they were surrounded, I'm like, just pick up a bone and just throw it over there. Draw their attention that way.
Yeah, but it was like they had a little sight because what they were...
Because the stuff they kept doing. The stuff they kept doing is like, there's no way they cannot see. Like I said, the biggest example, again, was what happened to Sam. I was like, okay, she's doing her thing. And then all of a sudden, this creature just climbs across the ceiling. Even though Sam's not saying or doing anything. She's just perfectly quiet. The other girls are like, ah! The creature literally attacks her. So, that part, I really didn't like. Also, like you said, the jump scares. There are so many jump scares in this movie that doesn't make any sense. The birds at one point, the bats at one point,
birds and bats.
The Sarah looking over there, and then Juno just all of a sudden jumps behind her. Mm-hmm. Or another part where Juno's looking over there, Sarah's looking over there. Juno pops up behind her. I'm like, and then she's like, well, I don't see anything. There's no way you could have came up behind her and not seen what she was looking at.
Right, because she was looking like for a while, just shining its light on.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, but I ain't got nothing against the person that directed this movie. In fact, who directed this? Neil Marshall. I'm quite sure I've seen more of this guy's films. Dog Soldiers. I did like Dog Soldiers. He did Doomsday, which I like Doomsday. He did Centurion. I actually like Centurion. He did 2 episodes of Game of Thrones. Okay, this man actually got a little something.
All right.
Oh, he's the new director of the new Hellboy that's coming out and Lost in Space. Okay, so the man got, like I said, I like Dog Soldiers because it's got that same kind of dark theme to it. I just wish that they would have did more with the characters. As far as making them more individual wise, made them out with the characterization, bit more with the storytelling, especially concerning Sarah and her daughter's death, Sarah and Juno's relationship, as well. Like you got Rebecca and Sam, but you don't know much. You know they're sisters, but that's it.
Right.
And Sam was going to be a doctor. That's about it.
And Paul was no help.
Like they didn't do any exposition with Paul.
Did he even speak? Did he even have a line?
So that's pretty much my biggest thing with this movie. But I still say the movie is definitely worth a watch. It does have some pretty thrilling moments to it. It's pretty awesome when it comes to the more suspenseful elements. So if you can rate this between 1 and 5, what would you get it? Oh, well, one being bad and 5 being good or being the best or whatever.
Maybe a 3.
Okay, I was going to say 3 too. I think this movie definitely deserves a 3. But anyways, guys, you've heard our thoughts on The Descent. Let us know in the comment section below what you think of the movie The Descent. Did you like the suspense? Did you like the creatures, the story, or the characters, or the performances? So also, guys, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what the hell is going on the Narik Chase channel. And guys, stay tuned for Breaking the Base tonight, because we're definitely going to be kicking some ass with some conversations concerning Marvel news and DC news. And be sure to stay tuned Tuesdays and Thursdays to get the best of what the hell we got going on this channel. And me and MademB will catch you guys later.